watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we're back for another episode of Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. I am Perry White. He is the man, the myth, the Hall of Famer, and the legend, my man, Coach Roger Cador. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mr. White.
How you doing, man? Beautiful day. Spring is here.
They're all beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. In spring, baseball is rolling right now. What, you been checking out some games, watching some college baseball?
I hadn't watched any game yet. Watched some Major League spring training. That's about it. But this week coming up, I'll probably start watching Southern play if they're at home.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the SWAC as well as SEC baseball. You know, SEC with so many teams in the top 25, one of, if not the toughest baseball conference in collegiate sports, man. And it's pretty much everybody's almost in the top 10 come looking at the SEC, man.
Almost. Yeah, almost. It's not good to be in that league if you're not in the deep South.
Yeah.
Missouri and Kentucky, they're going to have it a little tough. You know, Tennessee and Nashville and Vanderbilt about as far as you can go and still be competitive.
Yeah, and I think you see it with the records with Missouri, 0-6 in conference play, Kentucky 2-4. Okay. Surprising of a team that's 0-6 is Florida, who is a traditional power in the SEC.
They're 0-6?
0-6 in conference play. They lost all 3 games to Georgia and Tennessee to start SEC conference play.
Pretty much let you know how difficult it is.
Yeah. When you were coaching and you had to go play those types of teams, and of course you did it with LSU, beating them, but you even saw it in the regionals. And another team that you saw in the regionals that you talk about is Southern Miss, a team who was in the top 25, Troy in the top 25. But what type of investment does it take in the program? Because I was having this conversation with another guy just looking at what it would take for a Missouri and a Kentucky and so forth to try to get in the range of the rest of the investment of the conference. Because you see Missouri doing it in football, you've seen them do it in basketball with a team going to the NCAA tournament, but it has not quite equated to baseball yet like the rest of the conference is making that investment to sports. Well,
they're generally in the cold weather area. And the guys who are in the cold weather, leaving the cold weather to come play in the South. Mm-hmm. The one in the South ain't sure going up playing the cold weather. So that put them at a distinct disadvantage. Because they can't keep the better players in that cold weather, you know. Mm-hmm. So they have to settle for the next best thing. So that's one of the reasons. You know, it's not that someone is not a good coach. It's just that nobody want to go play in the cold weather.
And that's an interesting take, because I think a lot of times when it comes to sports, some things get missed by fans looking at teams. And looking at baseball, that could potentially get missed of one of the reasons why a team can't quite get things going, and why when you see the rest of the South, particularly the SEC and even the ACC with some teams like Clemson and Florida State, that you see in the South that's able to have success.
Well, you know, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, they all would be, if they could get, keep the people in the cold weather, yeah, they would be competitive. But because of what's happening, because of the cold weather, it wasn't always that way, by the way.
Really?
In the beginning, teams up in the north did well. They were always competitive. And then that's why they changed all the playing season. They changed a lot to try and give the northern schools some kind of chance. Mm-hmm. But in reality, you can't take away the weather. You can do whatever you want. Man can't control the weather. You got me? Mm-hmm. And the South is where it's at. The West is where it's at. See, the West Coast is still going to be pretty much competitive because the weather is good.
Yeah, you get the UC Irvines, the Cal State Fullertons, those type of teams.
Yeah. And USC and UCLA going to be competitive. Arizona State. Oregon has done well. Mm-hmm. Oregon State have done well.
Oregon State has done well.
They've done very well. They've won championships. Mm-hmm. So And what they could do is attract kids from California to come up to Oregon. And Oregon they've got pretty girls softball. It's pretty good in that part of the country.
Let me ask you, because a surprise some years back was a Coastal Carolina, who found themselves winning a College World Series in the midst of the dominance of the SEC. But what was it that you think for a program like Coastal Carolina to come up and be able to compete with some of the best, well, not some, the best teams in the country and winning a national championship?
They got their hands on some good players. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the coaching, it was the players. Mm-hmm. And don't ever forget it. I used to tell people all the time, it's not the coaching. Coaches do play a part, but it's the players. You got to have players to win and then coach them up, you got me? Mm-hmm. But hard to coach a donkey to run in the Kentucky Derby.
It definitely is.
Or if I would say a jackass, that's what they used to call them, huh?
As good of a coach as you are, I think you could develop a donkey to be able to compete in the Kentucky Derby, no?
No way. No way.
You talk about get your hands on some good players. How tough is that to get one of those magical rosters and realize when you look at that roster, like, oh, this is something special here?
I had several good rosters. I have to say I was fortunate. I got my very first run at recruiting in the 80s. Mm-hmm. I put my hand on some good players, and we had a good roster. We had a really good run for about 20-some years with really, really good players. And I taught my first group that I recruited from the 86, 87, 88, 89. I thought that was a really special time because, that's when we beat Cal State Fullerton. Mm-hmm. We were being very competitive with LSU, UL, Tulane, University of New Orleans, McNeese, everybody we played. We had a chance to beat them. Mm-hmm. And it's because we had the right kind of players. We just didn't have the pitching depth and didn't have a pitching coach. I was trying to do it alone with making my former players coaches. I mean, that's how we were doing it. I often think about, if only we had AD with insight and say, maybe if we give this guys money to hire pitching coaches, they might do something. Mm-hmm. But, that didn't happen.
Talk about that, because I think a lot of times as we look at sports, we don't realize how important it is to have coaches for different positions. And for fans, they often only know the star players, the head coach, and maybe a coordinator here and there, particularly on football. But even like basketball, baseball, a lot of people don't typically pay much attention to those assistant coaches. You're just looking at whoever's the guy standing up, demanding and calling out the plays.
Assistants are very important. They carry out assignments that the head coach can't carry out. The head coach can only be in one place at a time. You got me? Mm-hmm. Assistants can, you can put them in there. And you get good assistants. I was fortunate now. I only used my former players as assistants, and they learned well from what I taught them as players. And then when they became coaches, it was easy to get them to do what I needed done. Mm-hmm. And then it really permeated into really something really special. And I think that's why we had like 9 or 10 of them went into scouting, because they had what it took. And you gotta have it.
In baseball, to be truly successful, how many coaches and what are those coaching positions that you need for a program?
You need about 4 coaches. You need a pitching coach, you need an infield coach, you need an outfield coach, and hitting coach. And, you're not going to ever get that at a historical black school.
How many of those 4 did you have?
It's none. I mean, only.
That's a story that needs to be told, because I think when you look at success, a lot of people don't, when you peel the layers back, what does success really look like? Who all helped put into make success? And when we see success today, you see a team of people, right? You see a video coordinator, you see a run game coordinator, you see a passing coordinator, you see I'm just using football, but you see so many layers. It's like damn, when you realize like they got so many hands on deck.
Listen, that guy in that first base coaching box would be a guy who came from his job to get some attention and be in the first base box. He wasn't there when the teaching was taking place.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When the adjustments needed to be made. He wasn't there. He showed up to be in that first base box. That's what I had. Somebody who showed up to be in the first base coaching box. He loved the attention, and people thought he was a coach. But he was really someone who came from his job to be in that box. And so that's really the moral of the story is, we just never had a coach.
I think that's what makes your success and the program winning so many championships and competing for so long. That's what makes that story so much more magical to really start to understand that here you are taking a team with success all over the country, doing things nobody has ever seen done at a HBCU. And then when you really take a look, you're looking across the dugout at another dugout, everything that you would need, and then you look in your dugout and it's pretty much you and some players. And former players that you having to coach up to be coaches.
Yeah. Well, that was the good thing. I had good people, and they believed in what I was teaching them, so it made it easier when they came to be whatever they were with me to teach what they learned. You know what I'm saying? It made sense. Let's put it that way. I kept things so simple because I explained to them. It's a lot easier for someone to do something simple than difficult. Let's not teach them difficult things because too much failure already in baseball.
Yeah.
Stay away from the difficult stuff. Let's teach simplicity. So they used to use the word simplicity, coach. It really works.
So how do you work with pitcher development, being understaffed with no pitching coach? How does that work?
It's amazing. I try to keep things as simple as can. We used to have our pitchers do long throwing and long tossing. That's what we did. And pretty much told them, listen, what we'll do, we'll get loose, and then when we start really doing it, we're going to simulate pitching. And we're going to release the ball eye level. You can see when you release the ball out of your hand, everything is you can see in front of you. And I said, it'll help you control the strike zone, keep the ball down. And I said, you don't have to strike out everybody. Make them put it in play. And we kept it simple. I mean, that's really what they did. I mean, I did very, very little bullpen work with them. Go in and throw maybe 30, 40, 50 pitches in the bullpen. And that was how it worked. Now, we did what we had to do because we just didn't have nothing else we could do. We didn't have a qualified pitching coach, and the catchers did such a good job, I mean, when I tell you I had good young people, they were my coaches. That's how we made it work.
And it's an amazing story of how you made it work because, for me, and I think for a lot of people who even watching, you don't truly know.
You don't know. They don't know.
Yeah, you see the wins, you excited, you see the history, but it's like, do you really know what? And I think that's the importance of why when we talk about college athletics, the importance of giving back and investing in these programs, because these programs need so much, especially on the HBCU level, because I'm thinking about the success that you were able to have here at Southern, but I'm thinking about the other programs where they were in a similar situation without those coaches but couldn't quite find that success.
I think I did more harm than good because I had a measure of success without a lot of stuff that you needed.
So you made it look too easy?
Yeah, and people took it for granted.
Yep.
He's doing it, you should. And it's not that way. Everyone is different. I had a unique style about myself, the way I did things and how I accepted things, how I looked at things. You know what I'm saying? How I was able to communicate stuff to my players. I never made it look like a job. It was a fun thing. We we were talking when we were working. You know, we were laughing. And if they did something, I told them about someone that did it that way. So they would know. They feel good about themselves. I'm doing it like so-and-so did it. You got me? So those are the kinds of things a lot of coaches don't do. Because they're thinking of something they read in some book that someone put in a book that they're trying to.
They trying to emulate.
Yeah, I didn't read no damn book. you know, what they had, it wasn't going to work for my boys. What was going to work when I went out there and I saw a guy throwing a certain way, I helped make the correction. That's really what was going to work. You see. And I was always looking to make correction, you know. And they can't tell me I got players out of a good program. I went and got guys out of Detroit, Chicago, playing 10 games a year.
Up in the cold.
In the cold, no coaching. So they weren't coached. I got them and put them out here and we did the same thing every day. Repetition works. We did the same thing every day. And the repetition really took place. You know, and the kids loved it, you know. They got better. They could see themselves getting better.
I got to ask this. With the success that you was having here in the eyes of the country and people saying, hey, Roger Cador at Southern is doing something, in all honesty, did you ever get any calls from any other programs to try to steer you away from Southern with the success that you were having here, even on the major league or on the collegiate level?
I almost took the job at FAMU, Florida A&M. I mean, had that guy give me $5,000 for travel, I would have been gone.
What year was this?
1980.
Really? To be the baseball coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Walter Reed was an AD at Jackson State. He knew me doing my basketball coaching. And he asked me, he called me and said, hey man, you want to be the baseball coach here? And my wife and I talked about it and said, we need $5,000 to travel, to be able to move, the moving expense. Say, I'm not going to pay no moving expense to come. You know, they were giving me $5,000 more than I was making here. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, no, you're going to have to put it in writing, give it to me. And he started laughing. I said, yeah, you like Catherine. I know how you guys are. You give me and I'll never get that money. And I said, Mama have a problem with my wife, so I'm not going to do it. And he saw me years later. He said, what a big mistake I made.
$5,000 more dollars.
Goes to show you.
Yeah.
The mentality of people back then. You got me? You know what? This $5,000 was nothing back in the 80s. Nothing.
Especially if you make an investment to a coach that you want to have a winning program.
Well, he didn't know what I could do in baseball. He knew what I could do in basketball.
Yeah.
He knew about my basketball because he and I used to talk a lot. But he didn't know, he knew I played baseball. But after I started, he said, damn it, I made a mistake.
I got to ask, because you as a black man and a successful black man, when you have that level of success at a place with lack of resources, does it ever feel slighted that bigger jobs, when I say bigger jobs, the bigger programs across the country may not have considered you to be the head man, in all honesty?
I never worried about it.
Yeah.
Skip Berkman and I had a conversation. And he told me, he said, you know, you could really go a lot of places and coach. Particularly at white school, he said you could do it.
Yeah.
And he and I was pretty frank and honest with each other. He said, but they probably won't let you do what you're capable of doing. And I'm gonna tell a story about Nat King Cole, keep that in mind. He said, they probably won't let you. He said, at Southern, you can make a difference in the lives of so many black kids. And he said, you're in a good city here, you'll be able to do things, raise money. And he was so right in that regard and changed lives. And I made a difference. So it was well worth it. My wife used to tell me all that stuff, you accomplish ain't gonna mean a bean of hell when it's all over with. There's not much you're gonna be able to do with it.
Yeah.
So do what you do, and let's just enjoy the moment. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
Now it bring us to Nat King Cole, 1955, Vegas, the Golden Nugget. Nat King Cole was a great singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that with Skip Berkman. Well, he was singing at the Rouge. What was the name of the black casino over there?
No, that was in the 50s, Coach.
Oh,
I don't
come
know.
on. Well, all the white people used to go there for entertainment. That's where the best entertainment was.
What, the Mirage?
No.
Oh, okay.
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he got the Frank Sinatra them and Dean Martin them, got him to let him come sing at the Golden Nugget.
Mm.
And the owner of the Golden Nugget, a Jewish guy, told him, you can come and sing. You can come and sing, but you better not do your best. You better not serenade these white women. I don't want you singing so good and the white women are intrigued by you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do your best. Can you imagine? That's what I thought about. Because that's what I thought. They wouldn't want me to do my best. They would want it as a figurehead or something. You got me?
Yeah.
We gave him a chance. We're not going to give him everything he needs to be successful. You got me?
And we see that in sports today, especially with black coaches. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
You'll put a black coach next to a white coach and look at the same timeline, and you'll see the lack of success on one end, and then you'll see the black coach being fired, but the white coach still being able to keep his job.
Yeah. All I could say, when that man told Nat King Cole, don't do your best, you know how humiliating that is?
Yeah.
There is nobody in their right mind would tell someone, I'm going to pay you to come entertain or work for me, but don't do your best. Something is really wrong with that.
Is it a tough spot? Because then when you do your best, you don't get valued.
Yeah, but you want to do your best. You want to do your best, okay? Yeah. And, you know, that thing was stuck, you know, in the back of my mind for many, many years because every now and then at a speech I'll tell that story about, you know, not a lot of people know Nat King Cole, you know. They don't know about some of the history of Vegas, you got me? Mm-hmm. But I tell it so they'll know that some people, black folks, have to overcome some things where a guy brings him in to sing and he's a great singer, but tell him, don't you do your best. Tell me where that takes you.
Nowhere.
Didn't want him to serenade the white women.
So why even bring me here?
Yeah, yeah.
Why even give me the opportunity?
Because Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin told him he had to bring him.
Yeah.
Because they used to go to, I can't name them, the black casino on the other side of town. After they did their show, they would go there late at night, watch these great entertainers. And they brought in Nat King Cole. And this Jewish owner said, you can sing, but you better not do your best.
Don't do your best, huh?
Don't serenade these white women. Moulin Rouge. I know you would get it. That's why I kept saying it.
Moulin Rouge?
Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge.
That's right. That was that's where they, after the white entertainers would finish doing, they would go there and watch the black entertainers. And they saw Nat King Cole, and they brought him, you know. So there it is. That's a good piece of history. Not a lot of people know about it, but I like to bring up this kind of history, you know, so people know. And they'll know that I'm telling the truth. That's what my players loved about me. They would ask me every day to tell them a true story. And those kind of stories resonates. It helped them to understand where they came to, what the journey someone passed through to get them where they are, you know?
Because I asked Pete Richardson that same question. I was like, Pete, you know, when you were the head coach at Southern in the 90s, when you were dominating, particularly in the conference, knowing the lack of resources, did you ever get an opportunity to get a call from some other schools to say come in? He said, I did, but they never would want me to be the head coach. They would want me to come in and be a coordinator or something to that level. Nobody, he said, never felt the opportunity to make me a head coach to, you know, at the bigger schools.
Yeah, I even had a interview at Southeastern way back, like probably 86, 87, way back then. They interviewed me. And I knew they were not interested in hiring me. But again, they probably had to meet some criteria, you got me?
Yeah. Diversity.
Yeah, so they interviewed me. And I went in and
Could you feel it? You know, when I say
well,
could
I
you
knew, it wasn't going to. I knew it wasn't. It's hard to get fooled when you know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
You can read the room really well.
Read the room. You know. Yeah. So, but it was interesting. It was a good. I had a good run.
Yeah. And I asked because I saw Larry Vickers, who is the women's basketball coach, well, former women's basketball coach at Norfolk State, had some success, took them to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. And now he's just got hired at Auburn as the women's basketball coach, you know, and being able to elevate and take it to that next level. And I can kind of tell in his last game, post-game interview, he was kind of a little reluctant to talk about it. You can kind of tell for him, the mission was, like you say, to do some good amongst black people at a black college. But then you think about the transformation of the money. And I know all money ain't good money, but for family and moving forward, there's definitely a difference of a change going from Norfolk State to Auburn when you look at the resources and the salary that's included with it.
Auburn in New York?
No, Auburn University.
Oh, Auburn.
Yeah, in the SEC.
Oh, mine. I didn't know that. Yeah. You know, and I had 2 more interviews. I got interviewed by University of New Orleans. That was a really good interview. They were sincere with that interview. And, but you know what?
What?
It wasn't a good situation for me because they had some financial issue. And they ended up going to Division III or NEIA. They dropped from D1, you know what I'm saying? And the AD was sincere. He said, are you sincere if this job is offered to you, would you take it? Can't think of his name right now. He said, would you take this job? He said, we're serious. I said, yes, I'll take it, if you all are serious. And, you know, I tell you what, there was some, and I didn't even apply for the job. That was see, when you don't apply for a job and you get interviewed, you got a better chance.
Yeah. Comes more of a recommendation.
Yeah. Well, the guy knew who I was too, the AD. So, so there it is, you know.
Well, let's get ready to take a break, and we'll be back with more Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Hey, it's Jimmy Ott with ESPN Radio. Both Coach Roger Cador and I have gone to Dr. Dale Police for years for all of our dental needs. Dr. Politz uses the latest technology in preventive dental cleaning, digital x-rays and night guards, restorative tooth-colored fillings, porcelain crowns, complete partial dentures. Zoom whitening, you can whiten teeth 10 shades in as little as an hour. Dental emergencies for infections, broken tooth, or restoration when things just go wrong. Most insurance is accepted. Dr. Dale Politz and Dr. Larry Oob, available Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., 926-6899, and PolitzDentistry.com.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status. An inspiring story of tenacity, faith, and hope. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds. Get yours today by Cador and Cador Publishing. You are now watching Choppin' It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we're back with more Chopping Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. Of course, I'm Perry White. He's Roger Cador. Good conversation as we're talking about the sport of baseball, something that he knows oh so well. Decades of being a head baseball coach, winning a lot of games, and recruiting a lot of players. And Coach, you know, you and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago to bring up here on the show, talking about the psychology part of dealing with players and the mental side of being able to keep players together, and what goes into the mind and the thought process of what these guys deal with on and off the field, in the classroom, in life, and how do you keep that together by having someone evaluate and talking to them?
See, this is another thing. If I was the AD here, I would try to hire at least 2, maybe 4 people that can talk. You're gonna need women to talk to the women. I think you need that. I think you need to separate them. And men to talk to the boys, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I just feel that, you know, some of the situation people are coming out of homes and cities into bringing here on campus that they bring in here, they're bringing a lot of stuff. And I don't want to say baggage because that's not fair, but they're bringing a lot of issues out of those homes and in the cities and the community. They're bringing them here. How do you help them deal with it? Coaches saying, don't have the time. You got me? Mm-hmm. They're gonna need some quiet, private time that they can talk to someone and just let it out about what they're going through. You'll get better performance from your players if they can just release some of the issues that they're carrying around. You got me? Mm-hmm. And I'm big on that. I had a guy by the name of Kevin Triple with one of my better teams in 201, 202, 203. He was there for the Ricky Weekses of the world. You know, they didn't have to hear me hollering and screaming all the time and making demand. They had someone they could go to.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked so well because, you know, it allowed me to be a coach. And that's important. Concentrate on what's important, trying to fix things, you know, help kids make adjustments, while Triple was handling the other issue. So that's the kind of stuff. My thing is to find the money, Southern. We got somebody we hiring somewhere on this campus, ain't doing a darn thing to help no one. Let's hire him in this. These kids need them. You get a better product. They'll perform better. And it's the right thing to do.
I can remember Dr. Fountain, Coach Odoms had Dr. Fountain around the football program. Unfortunately, you know, she passed away on one of the trips.
Yeah.
But he talked about how important it was to have her around, because like you said, these kids dealing with so much, coming from so many different backgrounds, and then the things that you just find that you deal with just on campus, with you know, the pressures of classes, being a student and being an athlete. Sometimes it's family in the middle of the season while you got so much going on campus, family calling you, burdening you down with issues and things that, who do you talk to if you can't really talk to the coaches and the family? You're kind of reluctant to talk to other students and friends because you don't want everybody in your business.
In your business. That's why even you don't want the coaches sometime in your business.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have someone like a Miss Fountain or Kevin Triple. Got to have someone like that. You know, you know, and you know, kids may have, you know, so many kids don't have a father in the home.
Yeah.
They can't, and you know, it's just, and taking instruction and being disciplined. There's no one to discipline them. You got me?
And a lot of kids, they shy away from the person who typically is the structure and the discipline,
right.
especially when they've learned so long to do it the way that they want to do it.
There you go.
You know, and then it's hard to kind of keep them with you because they're going to typically gravitate. Because it's hard. You talked about it earlier. It's hard to do the right thing.
It's hard. And it should be easier. But the devil is powerful.
Yeah.
And it forces you to do the wrong thing. I mean, you know, everywhere you walk, the wrong thing is waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the kind of thing. I was thinking on my way over here today. Oh, this is a beautiful one. You know, I'm as a youngster in 1971. Country boy, got a call to go to Chicago to play baseball in the summertime. I'm very concerned about it. Didn't want to talk to my daddy about it. But I had to. I just couldn't leave home and go. So I said, hey, the guy called me, want me to come play ball. He said, son, do you know anything about Chicago and this man? I said, no. He said, son, my advice to you is not to go because you don't know what you're going into up there. My dad and I had not done a lot of talking, but we talked about that, and I didn't go. And what I did, I found out from one of my teammates who did go, what a rat-infested place. You're living in a building with a bunch of rats.
Yeah.
So you see, when people think their parents don't know, my dad had never been to Chicago. He doesn't know nothing. But he understood that my son is asking me about going somewhere he don't know the person. The city sound good, but you don't know what you're going into.
And it's a long way from home.
Long ways from home.
Whew, that's a long way.
Oh, it's a long way. And you know, boy, and I was thinking about it on my way here. One of the better decisions I ever made by listening to my daddy. It's not going up there to Chicago. You know. So what sounds good
Ain't always good.
ain't always good.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, I didn't have rats probably biting on me at night or whatever. You know, I just got sick when the guy told me that. But he stayed. And I couldn't understand, why would you stay in that kind of situation? He said, well, it probably wasn't any better at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't better in terms of a lot, but I had the security.
At least you at home dealing with it, not 1,000+ miles
Well,
away.
we didn't have rat. It was my mother kept the house clean, and there was going to eat a good meal. She was going to have 3 meals a day, and you know.
And I wasn't trying to say y'all had rats, Coach.
No,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
the environment that living in the Deep South was a little bit different.
A lot different.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I was born in the South and grew up and got raised in the South. I got to have values that really have helped me. You know, as I've moved around the country and then go around the world, you know, those values has paid tremendous dividends for me.
Well, let's get ready to take a break, and we'll be back with more Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Hey, it's Jimmy Ott with ESPN Radio. Both Coach Roger Cador and I have gone to Dr. Dale Polites for years for all of our dental needs. Dr. Polites uses the latest technology in preventive dental cleaning, digital x-rays and night guards, restorative tooth-colored fillings, porcelain crowns, complete partial dentures. Zoom whitening, you can whiten teeth 10 shades in as little as an hour. Dental emergencies for infections, broken tooth, or restoration when things just go wrong. Most insurance is accepted. Dr. Dale Polites and Dr. Larry Oob, available Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., 926-6899, and PolitesDentistry.com.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status. An inspiring story of tenacity, faith, and hope. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds, get yours today by Cador and Cador Publishing. You are now watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we're back with more Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador and Perry White. I'm Perry White, and he is Roger Cador. And Coach, you know, before we got back on air, you was talking to me about Rick Pitino, the coach at St. John. College athletics has completely changed. When you hear a coach say he would no longer go after recruiting high school players because he's simply looking at the transfer portal. When you first got into coaching, even on the basketball side and getting into baseball, did you ever think you'd hear those words uttered by a collegiate coach?
Well, you know, there was coaches, when I was coaching, didn't want to recruit JC guys because they felt they had bad habits and they couldn't change them. So there have been some things, you know, now they'll take a JC guy, you got me? Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's just it's an interesting scenario, philosophy, how things have changed.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would do what Rick Pitino said if I was coaching. Why deal with a high school kid and have to deal with, you know, the kid being everything, and he gets to college and things don't go right and you got a problem. Them guys already failed in the portal, you got me? They've learned the failure lesson. They're more prepared to do things the right way, you got me?
So where does the high school kid now fit into college sports if everybody wants the mature or the so-called seasoned guy at the portal?
There are plenty of schools to go to.
Like Southern?
Yeah, there are a lot of schools they can go to.
But I think everybody's starting to really want that philosophy though. You know, when the transfer portal opens up, it's like everybody's in their knife and fork ready to go to eat.
Well, there are plenty of places kids can still go.
Yeah.
Just maybe not be where they wanted to go, but there are places they could go. And that's the thing about life. Life presents challenges, and it have a way of working out.
I think it's a travesty to the high school players that how nobody seems to want to deal with them.
It's like Rick Pitino. There's going to be somebody going to take him. Everyone doesn't think that like he does. He's in championship mode. Mm-hmm. You know how many people in championship mode? All the other ones are they'll take a really good high school player. There are opportunities out there for them. Just that may not be at St. John's.
I'm just sitting here thinking about that.
Well,
so before, when you looked at the transfer portal trying to get guys out of the other schools, you looked at that time the junior college leagues. The JUCOs were the big area to go get a guy and try to bring him into the program. Not necessarily getting them from other programs because you had certain rules by the NCAA. JUCO leagues were a big league of going and getting those transfers, but JUCOs are now starting to go to a thing of the past.
Not really.
Talk to me about it.
There always going to be somewhere for kids to go.
Yeah.
I mean, kids fall into issues, they have to go to JC. The grades won't let them go to a 4-year school. I mean, there's always going to be opportunities. Just may not be for the one that want to go somewhere else. You got me? I mean, there are opportunities. Just work it out. You know, it all don't work out, trust me.
When you took in players, were you open to taking in transfer players?
I never took in a lot because there was no need to. Because Southern was so difficult to get in JC kids. They wouldn't accept their transfer credits, you got me? Mm-hmm. So I was limited on how many kids I could take from the JC. So that was the big issue. Now things are different now. They're finding a way to open the doors, you know. And it was a big fight to make them understand, we need to take JC players. We got to have them. I think they even started a JC at Subsport, right?
And where?
Subsport in Shreveport.
Oh, yeah. They do. Well, I'm not sure what programs. I know they have basketball. I think they started a football team. I'm not sure if this team is still up and going though.
Well, they wanted to do it so they could have a feeder system for Southern football. It makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could start it and abandon it. Man, listen, that's the best thing. There was another school that had that, and they would do so good with it.
Who? LSU?
No, I don't want to say Texas A&M, but it's a big school that had that feeder program.
Yeah. Because those, when I was doing work with BRCC, I had the opportunity to see like the LSU units and all of those. Were some really good programs.
Oh no, really good program. Oh no, they got some really good junior college
The
programs.
Delgados of the world and
Really good programs. So, and can you imagine in Florida and California and Texas?
oh man, them teams are souped up.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, Illinois, really good. They can't go nowhere. They're just not a lot of places they could go.
Yeah.
People just got to open their mind up and be understanding that things are going to be a little different, and it is what it is.
Yeah, we're in the new world of college athletics, man, and Coach Cador in the new world of college athletics, the NIL and transfer portal, man. You can't stockpile them rosters like you used to.
I can't what?
Stockpile your rosters like you used to.
No. Huh? Man.
That guy be ready to get up out of here quick. You telling him, man, you got to develop. You sitting behind this guy who is going to be an All-American. If you wait your turn, you will be an All-American now. He ready to go be an All-American now if he can.
Man, I had so many kids who waited it out, and they lovingly waited it out. They said, we'll be patient, Coach. We want to play here and play for you. So that ain't going to happen no more. And I'm glad, you know why? That I don't have to deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
I probably broke a few boys' dream by asking them to be patient and wait, where they could have gone somewhere else and played immediately. You know. I don't know.
It's part of the game.
Part of the game, you know.
Would you have sat around these days if a coach in basketball or baseball told you to wait and hold up when you felt like you should be playing now? You personally?
Probably not. You know, we can't expect these kids who has had it all
Yeah,
to give up something. You got me?
that's right.
They've had it all. Why would they give up something?
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about giving up. All they want is gimme, gimme, gimme. Take, take, take. Take, take, take.
Yeah.
You remember when Michael Jackson had that interview on CBS and he was talking about the Jews? And he said, all the Jews want to do is take, take, take.
Is that your Michael Jackson impression?
You remember that interview?
I don't remember that. But what did he say? Do your Michael Jackson impression again? What did he say?
All the Jews want to do is take, take, take. Take, take, take. I mean, it was funny. You know, he got some backlash for saying that. Because that's not true for all Jewish people. You know, they have some really good people who are Jewish. And I happen to know some of them. So, and I have some friends who are Jewish. And they don't take, they give. You know, because they've been taught to give back to a large degree. So Michael Jackson was a little misspoken when he said that. That all they want to do is take, take, take. That's not necessarily true. Maybe he knew one or two people who did that. And everybody got that issue in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Coach, as we get ready to wrap today's show up, man, what you got going on this week? What's coming up for you?
Oh, I'm getting ready to do the SWAC baseball tournament in Birmingham. I guess it's in May. And then I got the Hank Aaron invitation I'll be doing, and then the Swingman Classic in Atlanta that we'll be doing. We've really been working trying to pick out the best kids for that for the Swingman Classic. We're gonna pick 50 of the best players from HBCUs, D1s. So it's interesting.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, man, and I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. And listen, if you tuned in, if you watch it now or later, live or playback, be sure to go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing. Just hit that, and we'd love to have your support. And if you're watching on the Facebook, go to Coach Roger Cador's Facebook page and hit the like and follow him as well.
Yeah, we'll be doing something different in the next couple of weeks. Perry doesn't know about it yet. They just got a call last night. We're going to be on TV. We'll be doing a TV version covering all of South Louisiana.
This how you gonna break the news to me right here?
It just came out, yeah.
Fresh hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Well, don't get me excited. I'm excited.
yeah.
So that's what we got going on?
That's what we look like we're doing.
Okay.
I don't know yet, but he looked like it.
All right. Well,
He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Ooh, was that The Godfather? Make me an offer I can't refuse?
probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You watched all the Godfathers?
No.
Oh.
I was probably asleep.
You fell asleep? Oh, man, come on. Well, we'll watch The Godfather one day. We'll do a movie day.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll watch The Godfather with Coach Cador. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Hit that subscribe button, and guess what? We'll catch you next week. You guys have a safe week.
Bye.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach
What happened to
from
the-
Southern University.
I forgot.
Roger
I put
Cador. Against all odds, Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status.